July 11, 2024, I titled it The Day of Relief because that's what it was. The day I was finally released from the chains of lust. If you're struggling with lust, you coming across this video is a sign you need to address it. And I'm here to tell you, you will overcome it. I'm going to be clear when I'm talking about lust, and I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm talking about things that you shouldn't be watching, as well as indulging in self-pleasure. And I want to share with you 5 things that genuinely freed me from lust and will free you too, without the worry of relapsing over weeks, months, and even years. Number 1. Don't fight it, flee from it. You cannot keep thinking it's a battle, it's me versus me, as they say, thinking you can use sheer willpower to fight your way through it. Friends, we're smarter than this, and unfortunately it took me too many times to finally come to the realization that you can't fight it, you must flee from it. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 18 tells us, flee from sexual immorality. Friends, we have to understand it's like getting into a physical altercation in real life. What's the best approach? Even if you have the knowledge, even if you have the strength and you're well trained, the best approach is to turn around and walk away, because we know there's instances where we can get doom scrolling for far too long and we see a pop-up that we should have clicked, or our curiosity peaks and we start seeing things that we're like, maybe I should go check this out. Friends, we're smarter than this, and God called you for a purpose that's even greater than you can even imagine, and that ties into the second point. Number 2, understanding lust's true purpose. Lust just isn't a personal sin, it's a spiritual ambush. Its main purpose is taking you away from your God-given purpose, and most importantly, put you in a place of comfort, of compromise, and most importantly, distance yourself from God. Let's go back to the screenshot that I mentioned earlier, the aspect of the day of relief, because like I mentioned, it was a day I broke free from the chains of lust, and then I put in the remember your why, your mission, your God-given purpose, because it truly allows you to break free from the chains and not allow lust to control your mind, dictate your actions, and most importantly, cloud your judgment and how you perceive the world. Because every time you indulge in lust, you don't only step away from God's voice, but you lean into Satan's whispers, where he starts and goes in your ear and tells you, come on, it's just one more video. You can get back on track tomorrow. God will understand, don't worry. Friends, we have to be grounded in God's word and rely on his protection to truly free from lust. This ties into number 3. God is faithful. There is always a way out. My anchor and help me free from lust has truly been within God's word. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13 tells us, no temptation that has presented to you has not been common to mankind. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your control. So then, when you're presented and tempted with the opportunity, he will provide a way out so you may be able to endure it. God knows what you're capable of overcoming, because every single person you know has dealt with lust. But you have to be honest with yourselves. With the times you're presented with temptations and lust, God does provide a way out, but sometimes, unfortunately, in the moment, we're either too blind, or we sometimes see the signs and then choose to neglect it. I'm not here to judge, friends. I'm guilty of it myself, but we have to understand that God does provide the opportunity. You can always rely on his strength, and you can always rely on God's wisdom, but the wisdom you shouldn't be relying on is your own, and that ties into number 4, where wisdom is simply not enough. You can have it all and it will still not be enough. King Solomon is the greatest example of this. He had wisdom, he had wealth, he had favor, but he still fell into the temptations of lust. 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 3 highlights this by saying he has 700 wives, princesses, 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. If one of the wisest people on this planet got consumed by lust, don't think it cannot happen to you. Don't think you can surely rely on your own wisdom, your own strength, your own understanding to be able to willpower your way through it. Because we've seen with Solomon, he then unfortunately started worshiping false gods, not because he didn't believe in God, but because he let lust be his idol, and that became a false god. That became what he actually turned to whenever his times of need, whenever he was suffering, whenever he needed comfort. You think porn is harmless? You think flirting with temptation won't cost you? Lust not only ruins your mind, but it disconnects you from your calling, disconnects you from God. And speaking of disconnection, this showcases how much that you need to disconnect from some of that outlets that give you the ease of access to be prone to these temptations and fall back into the sin. And that ties in with number 5, reduce your accessibility. Let's be real, you have access to more lustful images than Solomon ever did, and you have it at your own convenience in the palm of your hands. And not only that, you have access to it with minimal effort. You can pull it up on your phone, you can be completely isolated in your room, and you can do it whenever you want. There is no limitation for you. So we actually have to, friends, lock in and be serious with understanding that we have to reduce some of the outlets that makes us prone and susceptible to falling into these temptations. Like I said, you have to limit the outlets that make you susceptible to falling back into this sin, whether it's social media. Even if you don't want to completely archive or delete apps, you can definitely cater your For You page to make it more wholesome. You can definitely be more conscious of when you're scrolling. There's certain things that I know you think, "Oh, I've fallen back into it many times. I don't know if this time will be different." Now you have your why. Now you have the foundation of God. And most importantly, you have the accountability of saying enough is enough. And if you want, by all means, you can tell other people so they can hold you accountable. I know it's a sensitive topic. Even me discussing this within this video, it can be quite alarming for some people. But this is a wake-up call you need. If you have to get other people involved to hold you accountable, so be it. Like I said, it will be difficult, but this difficulty will allow you to align back into God's purpose because you're showing self-control, you're showing restraint. First John chapter 2 verse 15 tells us, do not love the world or the things of this world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. By following the things of this world versus the nature of God, you're choosing to feed the flesh over the spirit. And friends, you don't know how many times this has happened to me, but like I mentioned before, I was able to finally acknowledge and hold myself accountable by understanding my why, understanding my purpose, and most importantly, reducing my accessibility and relying on the faithfulness and wisdom and strength of God to help me overcome this. On top of all of these 5 steps, there's always one thing that I remember too that kept me grounded, even in the instances when I was on the verge of relapsing. Remember, when a person does not have a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. Please, friends, for the sake of your future, for the sake of your goals, for the sake of your relationship with God, don't let that be you. So friends, I genuinely believe that you'll overcome lust. I believe in it and God knows too. So if this message resonated with you, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you always and God bless.